Well, do you want to boom or do you want me to boom?
Boom! What's going on, everybody?
How the fuck you doing, bro?
Man, doing great. It's been a good week. I was watching Ocho Cinco and Club Shay Shay and Shannon Sharp doing their nightcap. We need to come up with something like that. We have so much to talk about. We can literally find a time. We got to do it. Like one day. There's so many topics out there. Like every day is a dumber day. And I figure that with all this stupidity going on, there's a lot we could talk about. We don't even need to be controversial. We can literally just talk about stuff. Like, it is insane. And every day I wake up and I turn on X and I'm like, oh my goodness, we're in a new war. Like every day there's a new war. And I don't even know. Yeah, I didn't even know they were on the radar, but apparently they're blocking trade.
Dude, all I could tell you when I heard that we bombed Yemen was a Friends episode where Chandler said he had to move to Yemen and move to one Yemen way, Yemen, to get rid of to get away from some crazy chick.
I'm glad you like Friends. I love Friends. I don't.
Dude,
I understand if they're
I'm
blocking
white. I
trade.
have to like Friends.
I did not expect it because this week's been crazy for me. It's been really busy. I apologize for to everybody and you for kind of being out there. But like, I literally took time off of even looking at Twitter or X or whatever we call it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't even have Yemen on my radar. Like there's so many other countries I thought we'd bomb first. And I don't know, but it doesn't seem like they need to get Congress's approval to do things anymore anyway.
That's my biggest thing about it. Like, because we don't know all the intricacies. I can tell you this, I'm not for us fighting anybody, but anybody that's at our borders. I just don't understand. I don't understand how we got to the stage where we're just bombing people for shit that happens on open seas, without congressional approval. And I heard some people be like, well, they were attacking like civilian cruise liners. I still don't know how that's our problem. Like I hate to say, like people don't understand. Like I don't want war. I want us to take care of our shit. I just don't think we should police the world. It does not make America lovable around the world. We are not a loved country around the world.
So I have a question. Like, were they attacking cruise ships from land or were they like pirate ships or ships? I'm completely in the black on this. I have no idea what's going on. So if you know, and if you don't, that's fine. Like, who was attacking these ships? How were they attacking them? Was it surface to ship missiles? How were they getting attacked?
Right. Because it does matter. But at the same time, I'm thinking like, we're stretched pretty thin right now. For all we know, Canada could attack us.
Oh, that'd be funny.
It would be funny.
That would be great. That would be cute with their little horses.
Yeah, no shit. We're coming to take you over, eh?
It would be the most polite invasion ever. They'd be so polite. We're going to take over your country.
Just so everyone knows, it's midday, so I'm taking my alchemy.
Yep. Oh, alchemies. Hey, you know what? I also had a stomach flu this week. It didn't hit me because I have IBS. So whenever I get sick, it's my stomach. Right. And dude, Monday night. I had intense stomach pain. I'm talking I'm like, is my appendix bursting? What's going on? Couldn't sleep. So my whoop strap recovery was at 1%, which I've never seen before. Bam. The next day I went up to 38%. I finally got Ritual PM. I keep forgetting to ask Nicole to send me some. And dude, my sleep was 87% recovery today. Ritual PM is just legit. It is so friggin' legit, man. But let's on that note, Yemen, do you know how they were attacking these ships, Alan? Were they?
No, but this person says, I would love to have you talk with my husband sometimes. He was one of these, he was on one of the ships fighting pirates. I'm sure he could tell you all about these fucks. So Sparky Hearts, if you have any insight, let us know because we obviously do not. Goodness.
So it was ships. So my thing is we can literally from satellite, they can literally look into our house and watch us talking to each other right now. Mm-hmm. Couldn't we just, hear me out, bomb or attack the pirate ships?
That's what I'm saying.
It just seems like bombing people for pirate ships when we could just surgically get the pirate ships. Maybe I don't know much about this and I'm not claiming to, but it just seems like bombing a whole damn country seems a little extreme.
Especially in the climate we're in right now. I think Americans, for the most part, fairly stupid. and like to be that way at this point in time. You know, like, because people have no idea how stretched we actually are. And as an example, like here's my point of like the stuff with Yemen, even Israel, and even Ukraine. We've got military bases in probably 100 and some countries by now, right? Name any country that has a military base in America. Right?
China.
Well,
we just
a base that is supposed to be there.
I got it. The Mexican cartel.
Yeah, the Mexican cartels have military bases here. That's for sure.
I should just shut up. They're gonna kill me and my entire family. I'm just gonna shut up. I'm not saying a word. I like I'm pro cartel, guys. For the record, I do not want to get murdered. I'm good. Yeah. I am not gonna offend those people.
I don't want to get it. I don't want to get one of their Colombian neckties. Like,
they're almost as dangerous as Hillary Clinton, man.
Yeah, there are almost,
not quite. They have slightly less kills than Hillary, but right. I mean, it's.
You know, that's funny. It's slightly, and it's slightly, and that's the ones we know about, right? But it's just this weird thing. Like, imagine if Germany said, "Hey, we're gonna use this section of Texas, and it's gonna be our sovereign land, and we're gonna put our military shit there." Like, we would be like, "Yeah, fuck off." We would not take that shit.
No, New York would do it. Texas wouldn't. New York would be like, "Sure, fine, whatever." It sounds good, man. Sounds good. Let's go.
Will you take some of these migrants for us? You know,
or just shut down schools and put the migrants in. That sounds like a great idea. Who needs education anyway?
So when you think about that, by the way, that means that their taxes are twofold going towards supporting illegal immigrants. Their tax money just in supporting them and giving them money and housing, and then their property tax, which then goes to pay for schooling, is now being also used for illegal immigrants. Like, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm not necessarily a one-party voter, but anybody promising to close the border and deport everybody, that and public health are the two biggest pressing things. And it's unfortunate because Trump is like, I don't trust him about public health, but I think he'll deport everybody. You know what I mean?
Will he? I don't know. I mean, Obama's the one who deported everyone. See, the thing is, like, before this recent surge, my position, and I think I stated on this, is like, hey, everybody who's already over here, just give them a say, hey, look, it's your lucky day. Okay, here's a green card. Congratulations, pay taxes. Okay, from now on, no one's getting in here unless they do it through the legal channels. Done. Right? Mm-hmm. I can't say that anymore because we've taken in more people than we can support. I love the argument. Oh my goodness, I love this argument. Well, they're going to do the jobs that Americans won't do. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I've done those shitty jobs.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of white supremacist, like, elitist shit is that? Oh, white people would never, ever do manual labor. Bitch, have you ever seen a plumber?
Yeah. Those are also the people that argue to raise the minimum wage. You know that, right? So their argument is we need to raise the minimum wage.
But they work for less than minimum wage. They literally say they work for less. No one here will work for less than minimum wage. Why the fuck are we letting companies pay less than minimum wage if we have minimum wage? I'm against minimum wage, by the way, for the record.
Me too.
But if we have it, why are we letting people treat people subhumanely and pay them under minimum wage because it's inhumane to ship them back, yet they're shipping them. Think about it this way, too, for the economy. They're making American dollars and sending it to another country. What does that do to our economy?
It's insane.
How dumb are these people? Goodness gracious, how dumb are these people?
Very, dude, very. Because that's what I'm saying. Like, if we didn't have illegal immigrants working, how much, like, minimum wage would almost be unnecessary. You know, like minimum wage, especially for like, you know, any type of skilled job would be would be unnecessary because realistically, it would drive wages up because people would be like, oh, like, I'm not going to work for below minimum wage for that shitty ass job. Yeah. And when you allow companies to pay less than minimum wage, it brings the entire racket down. That and how are we hired? Like right now, dude, in California, illegal immigrants can become cops. Or is it California or is it Michigan?
Yeah. So what does that mean? Like, I think Michael Malice said something like without basically cops, politicians writing a law is just basically like writing to Santa Claus. Yep. It is the followers who actually enforce these laws. So I don't think the problem is that nobody's willing to stand up for, we saw this during 2020, is that that one Idaho cop, they protested at his house, but I don't know what his punishment was for arresting that mom at the playground. I'm not going to say what I feel his punishment should be, because I think that's treason, what he did. And you know the punishment for treason, Alan? You know the punishment for...
It gets you a ban on Twitter. I know that.
Exactly. So we can't say what the punishment for treason is. But what I will say is whatever the WHO and the CDC says the punishment should be is what I believe is right, because they're always right. So, dude, but think about it. Like, without cops, and I understand why the right has completely been anti-cop more than I've ever seen, especially the libertarian right, because we see that politicians, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, they are powerless except for these bootlickers. And no, not all police officers are. I'll tell you what, local cops here, they didn't do any of that. They were like, nope. Now, Metro Nashville, a lot of them were like, hell no. But there were some, like the guy who told me to wear a mask on a street. Like, I was like, arrest me. I was like, arrest. I would love that for my social media. It will be worth the time in jail. Like, go ahead. It'll be worth the clicks. But
no shit. I'll make more money on. I'll make more money on the clicks than the bail will be.
And everybody who sued against what happened won. Like every mask mandate, every other mandate, even the obviously the thing we are 100% for, which is the experimental therapy. We are 100% in line with the CDC and WHO recommendation for that. 100% safe and effective for everyone. And so, but none of this happens. None of this happens without these bootlickers. That's the problem. So they got rid of the people who were like, no, I'm not doing that. So now you definitely have a majority of bootlickers. A lot of these police officers on the street, whether you like it or not, I don't care if your families are cops. Mine are. My in-laws are a bunch of police officers, and I'm not going to tell you what their opinion is, but the bottom line is, because I don't know, I never asked, but the bottom line is most of these cops you see, if they were told to kill their fellow civilian or else they lose their pension, you'd be dead. Dead. They would not question it. You would die.
And that's the biggest problem I think we're running into, is that too many people don't understand that, like, the law is only the law by interpretation. That's why we should be kind of our own law. Like, how much less, and I know that people don't believe this, but we would need less police presence if every single citizen was armed. We would need less police presence.
Less? I would argue you might not need any.
Right.
I mean, good peace. So here's the thing. I believe in New York, under 300 people commit all of the crimes. Yep. Think about the millions of people in New York. Most of society, the problem with Americans and with people in general, people are generally trusting and good. And I think that's why Canada and Australia got hit so hard in 2020. Because if you've ever been to Canada or Australia, the nicest, kindest, most trusting people you'll ever meet. So what happened is they trusted the government. And the reason we didn't go as far as they did, because Americans have a different history, a history of rebellion. So those of us who have that American tradition of rebellion, and before they went, F you, I will do what you tell me. But remember, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Remember that, obviously, Rage Against the Machine and all the other rockers, they were actually the opposite when push came to shove, because they're pussies. But that was where I grew up. I grew up in the 80s and 90s when punk rock and that lifestyle, gangster rap, you had NWA singing Fuck the Police. You had Ice-T singing Cop Killer. You had Rage Against the Machine singing Fuck You, I Won't Do What You Tell Me. So I've always been anti-establishment. And my entire generation, the Gen X and a little bit younger, we've always been that, like, fuck you, I'm not going to do what you tell me. And these up and comers, they've gone pop. They have, where they're told if the government says something, you do it. They tell you to cover your mouth with a muzzle, you do it. They tell you to stay in your house, you do it. You know why? Because it's for the greater good. When I was a kid, we could give a fuck about the greater good.
Shit.
We just cared about us and our own people. And that's America to me. America, the Tea Party was all about fuck the establishment. Americans always have been anti-establishment.
And the weird thing is even if you look at the younger generations, because here's what I'm finding, right? If you look at the younger generations of physically and emotionally strong younger people, they're all based. Like, I mean, I'm starting to see a lot more of the younger people that are based. It's these unhealthy or constitutionally and emotionally weak people that are followers. Like, because like I'm like, fuck it, what are you gonna do? You know, that's what you're like. Fuck it, what are you gonna do? But these people are very much like, well, I don't want to get in trouble. Shit. You know, like first of all, I argue that what trouble could you actually get into for following the Constitution? Like, if you can get in trouble for being able to just talk, like, we have a problem, and we have huge problems in society. This, of course, we talk about this every week. But yeah. I just find it kind of messed up that, like, we have people that ridiculous laws are being passed throughout the entire United States. Ridiculous things. In New York, you can't call somebody fat or you could get in trouble because fat phobia. You know, but you just sent me this stuff this morning. California is going to ban youth sports.
Oh God,
dude!
I lost my shit. I was actually, I have 2 clients, in-person clients, because I love them. And hardworking, great individuals. And I was waiting for my client to get there, and I read it, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And they've had certain things, and I got to admit, when I first became a parent, I was like, I'm never going to let my kids play tackle football because of, well, it's not a contact sport, it's a collision sport. However, when I was hanging out with Brandon Curry, if you look, his son Maximus is like one of the top-rated football players in the country. At like 15 years old. The kid's I think he's 14. The kid's fucking insane. Like, look up Brandon, when he posts about Max. I mean, these are like, I love the Currys like I love my own family. And I'm like, so I went to Max's game. He was playing at Brentwood Blaze. All right. His team was playing our home team. And I'm watching him hit, and I'm like, okay, these are 2 of the best teams in the state. Right. And this isn't impressive. Like, they're not hitting. Like, when you go to a high school game, you're like, bow, you're like, oh shit, oh fuck yeah, you're getting all hyped up. And I'm seeing them hit, and I'm like, this is nice. And when the line hits, it's like dink, dink. It's like not crazy hard, and the kids are not hitting. When I played football, we ran with our head first down. We speared people. We used to call it spearing people. Now these kids, because they have coaches like myself, like my other coaches, Coach Chris, Coach Pat, who coached the Blaze with me, we teach them how to hit properly, how to hit with their shoulder. You get penalized for hitting with your head. You can't hit late. All the stuff they used to do that was really dangerous is gone. And you have it where kids under 12 generally don't hit very hard. I mean, other than my son.
Other than your kid. Dude, and people, you have no idea. Marc sends me videos of his kids just literally mugging other children. It's almost like Thomas, Preston's an amazing football player, and he's faster, stronger, bigger, and more powerful than anybody else he's playing against. And it's silly. And he's great at the game. Like, you can tell he understands it, right? But he sends videos of Thomas, he's wrestling this kid, and he just kind of picks this kid up by the hips and throws him on his back and pins him. It's like,
from the ground, too.
From the ground, yeah. He's deadlifting him right off the fucking ground.
I don't think he's going to, place too high in state this year, but his progress from one year to the next, starting 8th grade, being a sophomore, fighting on varsity, moving up a weight class, I'm proud of him. But so essentially, they're taught to hit better. And also, like, I've coached high-level soccer from the age of 6 to the age of 19. What was it, 2017? I was the strength coach for the national championship girls team, the U17 national championship girls team. So I've been around the block. There are more collision and contact injuries and concussions in my experience in soccer than in youth football by a lot. Because what they did in soccer is for U13 and under, you cannot header the ball. So if you can't header the ball, which they think causes concussions, what do? You high kick, which is a penalty. But if the ball's in the air, your initial instinct is get it out of the air. Can't use my head. If I use my head, it's an immediate penalty. Right. So So they're kicking kids in the head. My daughter got a horrible concussion from just simply being ran over. I mean, she just got ran into and she fell, hit her head against the ground. So the real football isn't even the worst sport for children to play. Now, once you get to high school and college and football, it's just physics. These people are big and strong and fast. But this is simply, in my opinion, they are trying to emasculate young men. They're trying to take away physical activity. They're trying to pussify them. And they are trying to, well, I mean, think about it this way. Let me make this comparison. A kid can cut off their penis as a minor in California, under 12 years old. But if you're 12 and under, you shouldn't be able to play tackle football.
Right.
So penis chopping, okay. The other stuff, not. That's insane.
So they're saying it's to reduce brain injuries. Here's also some other shit, right? If we're really worried about brain injuries to children, maybe stop giving out ADHD medication and SSRIs like they're chiclets. Maybe actually talk to these fucking children. How about this? Don't have fat kids, because that's bad for their brain also. They actually develop less gray matter at a time. Let's have them eat whole nutritious foods instead of shoving all sorts of ultra-processed food. Like, if we're actually worried about the future health, brain and body health of children, are we going to ignore that, like, a huge portion of children are overweight, obese in our country? We don't want them playing tackle football. We don't want them doing something that has athleticism to it that could give them confidence, help them burn off calories, help them build muscle, help them learn valuable lifestyle skills, such as being able to follow orders, like actually trying to delay pleasure, like delay gratification, to work hard towards a goal. These are all youth sports things, whether they're individual sports or whether they're group sports. And we want children so badly to just sit there. Like, if you want to bubble wrap your child is, one, going to hate you when they grow up. And two, they're going to be a weak pussy, which is why they're going to hate you.
I've had a couple, because I posted this on Instagram and Twitter, and one guy's like, well, kids don't need to play tackle football till they're in high school. It doesn't make them better. And I just want to beat the shit out of this guy. That's the initial reaction I got, because what he doesn't realize, the development of children. I'll tell you this. I've played every sport. I played basketball. Yes, I was the starting center of my 8th grade basketball team. I haven't grown any taller since 8th grade. I've played baseball. I've played soccer. I've been on a swim team. In 7th grade, I played every sport, because when we were kids, we played every sport. It's changed a little bit. There is no sport in this world that develops character like football. I want any one of you to come I invite everyone. It's open invitation. Go to Franklin, Tennessee at 5 p.m. or 3:30 p.m. Come to Legacy at Carbon. We have entire football teams in there. We got kids from 2 high schools that hate each other, training together like they're best friends for years. Franklin and Page. We got those kids working together. We got Brentwood. We got all these teams. Guess what? Nothing builds camaraderie, nothing builds teamwork, nothing builds leadership skills than football. Football is the greatest sport on earth. And this is someone who trains and has played every sport. Football does something. Tackle football, something about being in pads, something about lining up, something about the camaraderie you get when you battle with somebody. And it might sound silly, but I have seen kids with behavioral problems myself. Football saved my life. I would be dead right now if I didn't have football. I have seen kids literally that I've coached gone from like lost and failing to successful and wealthy and well-adjusted and fathers. And I'm old enough to have seen this. And for them to take this wonderful sport away, and no, there is no too young for tackle football, because it's funny how their impact is so much lower at that age. If it's the case, then hey, it's like, well, lifting at a young age, it's like, do you realize that every time a kid runs and jumps, it's more impact than it's literally 1,000 pounds of impact. Is your kid deadlifting 1,000 pounds? Right. No. So the thing is, I'm all for parents. You know what? Hey, if you want to shelter your kid, you do that. But when my kid beats that kid's ass on the field, when all the kids that come to Legacy beats that kid's ass on the field,
Yep.
That's on you. When my kid gets the job over your kid, when my kid is your kid's boss, when my kid owns the company and doesn't hire your kid, it's because you raised a soft ass pussy.
That's right. Here, this is a good point by Shai Franklin. Shouldn't the children decide what they want to do with their bodies according to California? That's such a good point. Like, so they can't get they can't get tattoos. They can't because I mean you can't get a tattoo until you're 18 at least. They can't get tattoos.
No, they can't tan. They can't tan. They can't go to tanning salons.
They can't even go to a tanning salon. They can't play football, but they could actually go on castration medication
without their parents' permission. Without their parents' permission.
That's what puberty blockers are. That's how I'm going to refer to them moving forward, by the way. They're castration medication, And that's fucked up, bro. I mean, I think that's really, really messed up. Like we have no idea, and this is the theme of America right now. We have no idea what this is actually going to do, but we seem hot to do it anyway. We don't learn from any mistakes in our past at all. Like, I say this all the time about our government. The founding fathers would be stacking bodies like pine right now. These insurrectionists. What the fuck do you think George Washington was? George Washington was an insurrectionist. It's our government, it's our country, and it's our children. I can't I enjoyed Orange County, but I just cannot imagine living in California. I can't imagine it just because they're not going to be happy. I swear they're trying to drive everybody out of it. Is it a huge land grab for California or something like that?
Well, they need to make space for the illegal immigrants, man. I mean, it all kind of works out if you think about it. I don't think that's the purpose. I really think that what happened is, I don't know if there's a grand conspiracy of the weakened people. I just think we have weak people in charge who this is what they feel is right. I always point to Governor DeWine in Ohio. I do not think that man did lockdowns for any reason other than he's feeble, old, and weak, and he was scared. I think DeWine is a good man. I have a business in Ohio. I like him. And I honestly, he almost gets a pass from me because I think he was legit gaslit by his own people.
I agree.
I like Trump. Trump just cucked out. Trump is better than that. Yeah. Trump's a strong man. Okay, Trump just was scared. Governor, he was scared, but not in a. DeWine was scared for his own safety. So I'm not gonna pick a fight for this one. I'm not gonna die on this hill. But when DeWine got reelected, I was like, yeah, all right, he learned his lesson. He's a scared old man. If you look at him, he's a dainty little bitch. But
he's a dainty little guy.
But I think he's a good man. Am I allowed to think dainty little bitches are good man? I think he's a good person. I think he means well.
People are allowed to be dainty little bitches.
Yeah, but what they're doing in California, the problem is look who they're electing. Have you seen Senator Wiener? The guy's literally, his name's Wiener.
Wiener.
And he looks like it's the worst name for a guy who looks like that. And he's put through pro-pedophile legislation. So, I mean, allegedly, I obviously, whatever the WHO and CDC says is what I believe.
Yes, of course. They're 100% correct. 100% correct.
Yeah, so, I think that just looking at this, I think that it's just, we're just seeing the leadership bleed down, right? We're seeing their beliefs oh, football's so masculine and toxic. Let's stop this, all right. Cause they're not masculine. Men, injuries are going to happen because men do when I was a kid, we used to jump off of 2-story roofs.
No shit. Dude, do you remember, I was in my teens and, teens and early mid-20s when, WWE, ECW, for those of you that don't know, ECW is Extreme Championship Wrestling. And, dude, they, people were emulating this shit, jumping off roofs onto mattresses and shit like that. I actually told this story at Christmas. My friends and I, if you've ever been to Pittsburgh, there's Route 51 that goes to the South Hills, right? You've been on it. It's it's like a highway, but it's not, right? And there's a lot more traffic lights on there now. There used to be a traffic light every maybe quarter mile to half mile to quarter mile. Now there's one every couple hundred yards, right? But we used to jump from the back of one pickup truck to another pickup truck while driving down this motherfucker. You know, like, and I'm talking driving like 45 miles an hour. Like when I tell you, when I was a teenager, I thought I was immortal. I'm not kidding you. Like, what could happen? You know, like you fall off, you fall down, you brush it off, you're fucking okay. You know, you break your arm, you get a cast on it, you fucking come home. It's all good, you know? And while that's stupid as fuck, like while I'm lucky to be alive, it still toughened me up. Like, I mean, my God, like if you, like, I truly believe this. If your child, if you have a male child and they have never been in a physical altercation with another male child, you should be worried. You should actually be worried, because how are they going to deal with shit in the real world? You know, especially if they got a mouth on them. It's, you know, if they talk shit and want to be funny and they've never actually physically handled themselves and they're a young child, you're in trouble. You know, like, I mean, they're going to end up in trouble. Those are the guys that end up turning 21, get drunk on the first night at a bar, mouth off to somebody thinking it's just like still the internet, and then they end up getting their ass beat into a coma, you know?
Yeah, and that's why I always recommend, I don't recommend fighting outside of controlled environments. My kids can fight. Like Thomas.
Controlled environment. Yes, controlled environments.
Yeah, when we, I think it was when he was started boxing, some kid tried to punk Thomas at soccer practice. He had a left-right combo. Kid was knocked out. No one ever messed with him again. You know, it's right. But the problem is, again, like, look who runs for office. All of the talent is in the public sector. Yeah. It's in the private sector. It's the Elon Musks, the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Jeff B. Those are the guys who are really making shit happen. Do you think they'd be like, I'm going to be a senator? No. People like that are people who know they can get rich by doing what they're doing. Look at the Bidens. Look at AOC. Like, these people
AOC is perfect. Yeah.
Look at Bernie Sanders. He didn't have a job. He's never had a job. He's never had a successful job, yet he's a millionaire now for being a fake socialist.
He became a millionaire by saying tax the rich.
Notice he doesn't say millionaires anymore. He just talks about billionaires. He just goes, the millionaires and the billionaires. Now it's like, the billionaires. I'm like, you son of a bitch. Like, you literally, like, when he moves up to billionaires, he going to go to trillionaires?
I don't know, but that was really good, both Bernie Sanders and Fauci. I'm not good at impersonations. Dude, I'm impressed. I'm impressed, though. Like,
it's kind of one and the same.
Yeah, are they the same person? We could think about that.
I don't even know. But getting back to kids' sports, like, if California does this, all it's going to do is create more and more migration to Florida, Texas, and Tennessee. Like, we have such good football teams here because of California. Like, I remember when I played football in California, and I played Pop Warner football. A lot of parents played football, and if they can't put their kids in tackle football at 10, 11 years old, they're gone. Yeah, they're gone. They're not even thinking about it. Like, I'm not going to say the celebrity, but, like, I'm friends with these people, and they moved here so their kid can play football from, I think it was Massachusetts.
Yeah. So here's the reality of that is this too. Like, whoever told you, like, well, they can start later, they don't need to play young, the blah blah blah. Let me tell you something. The younger you start a child, the more the movements become natural. The more repetitions they get, the better they'll be at it. You know, it's irrefutable that the more repetitions you'll be at, you'll be better at something. And to say, like, well, we need to save these kids' heads, it's weird because, like, they're talking about banning football, but I bet you on a percentage level basis, their cheerleaders get more injuries than football players.
Oh, yeah.
100%. I mean, cheerleading is dangerous as fuck.
My wife was telling me about, like, so they used to do this thing where they weren't really trained that well. It was California. Mm-hmm. Like, we weren't at one of the schools with, like, a big budget for cheerleading, but they used to do a thing where the girl would flip over the arms and they dropped the bitch on her neck. Yeah. So she had to go to the emergency room, and they thought but she ended up being okay. But, like, cheerleading, like, these girls are flying in the air. Like, any sport has inherent risk. Any one of them. Soccer, baseball, football, baseball. You're flinging a ball.
Yeah.
And these kids, dude, these 12-year-olds are throwing in the 70s now.
Yeah.
We coach multiple baseball teams at Legacy, and these kids we train are insane. They are so insane. Like they are so good compared to what we were. Like the
Oh, yeah.
talent is immense, and we're making them even faster and stronger. And I'm like, oh my goodness, we're creating monsters, and I love it. But I mean, there's any sport I could come up with a reason with why we should ban it,
Right.
especially
I mean,
soccer.
yeah. I mean, it's just, I just don't know. Like, I believe that people become better through adversity. Like if you can't like face adversity and get better, like that's a character flaw, right? If you want to like have somebody that succeeds, you got to challenge them all the time, right? You got to challenge these children all the time. If you don't have them like challenge themselves, they will get complacent rather quickly, especially in the age of social media and video games and shit like that. If you don't give them a productive outlet, they can sit like, dude, I shit you not, I could sit down at a PlayStation, put on a sniper game, and shoot people in the head for like 4 hours and think it was 15 minutes. It's insane, you know, like, and it's shooting people in the head virtually, YouTube, like on a video game. Not actually doing it. But you know, now we're done.
Oh no, he did it.
Yeah, now
He
we're
did.
done.
I want to bring this up. So my brother lives in Melissa, Texas. And did you see the Instagram post that they had about their football stadium for a high school? I'm gonna bring this up right here. So football is life, and this I don't know how because California, dude. You got Modern Day, you got Long Beach Poly, you got Bishop Amat, and all these so Blaze football, where I coach, is a feeder into all the Brentwood, the Ravenwoods, the Indies, the Page High schools. So I mean, these high schools got to be like, nah, we're not doing that. Here,
Right.
check this out. Look at this stadium.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's
let me see.
High school stadium.
A high school stadium, bro. Like I went there. It's absolutely bonkers. That is my niece's high school. Like that's insane.
That's crazy.
Look at the scoreboard. The scoreboards. I mean, that's Texas. God bless Texas. God, I love Texas.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to kind of bring that up when you talk about how this is going to be received. Like football is life, dude. Ball is life. Like the more I get into coaching it, the more I realize how important it is for kids to be playing football. I mean, we stand there and we'll talk about our time playing football, you know, with the kids. And it's kind of like you get to see the camaraderie and everything. And that's what they want. They want to take away citizens loving each other. You know, football is one of the first sports, and every sport is actually. You look at integration, right? Racial segregation, integration. Jackie Robinson, in football, there's never racism unless you're just talking shit because you're talking shit because it's funny as hell. But football, you don't even see color. I know you get in trouble for saying you don't see color anymore. Like my good friend, goodness, I sent you that story, right?
Yeah.
Where Sharon's like, I don't see color. Like, you're a racist. You're not racist enough. Like, what? But football, it doesn't, like, football in the gym, like, you come into Legacy, like, there's no colors. There's not even team colors. There's just people trying to be better. And that's the thing about sports. Everybody's trying to be better. Everybody's trying to win. Think about it. You're trying to be better. You're trying to win. That's how you create a wonderful person.
Absolutely. Because that way they work on solving problems and they'll put hard work in. When we need that in this country, I don't care what anybody says. People want things too luxurious. I mean, we have no idea what this is going to do. Like what I said a little earlier, the level of straight up laziness along with gluttony and just weakness in our society. This is how societies fall. This is how, for instance, one of the things we were going to talk about today. In the Amazon, they found through LIDAR, which is like radar for underground. They found under the canopy an old civilization that's 2,500 years old that likely had tens of thousands of people on it with aqueduct, like a fairly modern civilization. Wow. So that's 2,500 years old, right? Why don't we know this? Like, why is there no record of this civilization? It's 2,500 years ago. We have record of other shit that happened. This whole thing literally disappeared from existence. Like, how does that even happen? And why did, like, should we not want to know why that civilization failed? Like, maybe could that possibly be societally important for us to understand why they failed? You know, like,
Well, it's
look at
underneath the rainforest, right?
right.
Like
But
somehow
the rainforest happens when, like, dude, if say the power went out, right, and stayed out in New York, right? In about 15 years, you could go back to New York City and you'd still be able to see the buildings, but nature would have taken most of it over already.
you're absolutely correct. Yes. And you can see that with we were driving back from my brother's house in Texas to Tennessee. We saw some towns that were kind of like the Amazon, but within 15, 20 years, you could tell they used to be kind of cool. And you could see old buildings just completely covered in vegetation and completely taken over by nature. It's amazing how nature does that. Everything you build and do, nature will integrate with. And animals will form habitats within the human dwellings. It's absolutely astounding, but you're right. I wasn't even thinking about that. What causes societies to fail? Right. And I think Rome is but if you look at, a lot of people are talking about this now, if you look at what's happening now, people are saying it's following a lot of what caused the fall of Rome.
It is.
Like men being weak as fuck being number one.
Yeah. Men being weak as fuck, not protecting children, not worried about the elderly, basically rampant disparity too. Like, we have rampant disparity right now. Here's the thing. You have money, but we're at a stage now where we're talking about billionaires. Like, remember, like, when we were younger, people would talk about being a millionaire, like, oh, I can't wait to be a millionaire. Yeah. Now people are like, I can't wait to be, I want to be a billionaire. It's $1 billion. Like, people realize how much money that is. It's $1 billion.
It's 1,000 millions.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like, on that level, like, the disparity is just so huge. Like, we got people like Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum, which of course we support fully. But like, they're just rich people that all gather together and talk about how they're openly talking about how they are going to rule the world. Like, if we were actually a serious country, we'd be like, hey, maybe you guys might want to shut the fuck up.
I think if Trump was like, hey, my number one thing is I'm gonna fucking shut these fuckers down. Yep. I'm gonna literally, these guys are an existential threat. I consider them terrorists. We're sending in the military. We're arresting every single one of them. And use the fucking Patriot Act. I don't care. Or wait till that Klaus Schwab guy crosses the border, arrest him, and be like, okay, let's go. Like, that's the thing. Like, okay, I'm done. Like, that's what's that was the Vivek thing. Isn't he listed on their website somehow, Vivek Ramaswamy?
Yeah, he's tried to explain that. Here's my thing. Like, I mean, you know how I am. I don't trust any politicians, just about. Like, the only one I can honestly say that I think, like, actually has Americans in mind is Massey. You know, like Thomas Massey. I think, like, he does shit that's unpopular because it's the right thing to do often. You know what I mean? But like, the rest of them, there's fuck shit with the rest of them. You know, like, I of course I'm going to be voting for Trump because I believe we need to consolidate our vote. Me and you and I've talked about that many times. I am, however, terrified that somebody's going to be like, hey, we got a new pandemic. And he's going to be like, okay, greatest new vaccine ever. Like, you know, I'll save 100 million people. Like, dude, back the fuck up with that shit. But like, do what you did last time. Run the economy well. I mean, even though we borrowed $7 trillion or we made $7 trillion when he was president, we've got to stop the bleeding at some point in time here. Like, the country is going in a very, very, very bad direction.
It's not good. Rand Paul's another one. He's always stayed true. Like, even during, he was like, no, not wearing a mask. Sorry, not doing it. He's like, find me. I don't care. And then his neighbor beat him up. It was a really bad chain of events for him. Yeah. Rand Paul had a very tough decade so far.
Remember when there was a mob that basically tried to attack him for not wearing a mask and all sorts of shit? Like,
well, no, that was the BLM one.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and they were mad at it was the no knock whatever, and I forgot the girl's name, where the police did their no knock raid and they killed a woman. Which, by the way, Rand Paul's like, I literally wrote the legislation to stop that. But they're idiots. Nobody even knows what they're protesting. They don't know any facts. And that was the thing, is like, nobody really knew what BLM was about. They're just like, it was, but they're brilliant. They're brilliant. Like Antifa. I don't like fascists either. I'm anti-fascist. It's like their marketing department for the Democratic Party are brilliant. And yes,
so good.
Antifa and BLM are arms of the Democratic Party. That's why when you donated to BLM, it went straight to Act Blue. Act Blue is literally the fund that goes to the Democrats.
Yeah. That's 100% true too.
I keep this here just for this. That's your mic drop moment. That is the mic drop moment.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah, it went to Act Blue. It has to say it due to SEC rules or whatever. But yeah, it literally said that. Everybody's like, oh, no, it's not the same. It is. BLM is a militant domestic terrorist arm of the Democrat Party. And that's not even controversial anymore. It literally isn't. That will not get me canceled. It just won't. Because all the facts back, if somebody wanted to cancel me for wrong facts, for lies, for their lies versus my truth. But if we went to court and I said, hey, here's my evidence. One is all their donations went to Act Blue. Two is they're buying mansions over here. They're enriching themselves. Three is none of the money actually went to any black causes. Oh, and by the way, they burned down a bunch of buildings. That's terrorism.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, I'm not saying that as, look, man, I'm the biggest supporter of Black Lives Matter. I'm not even an All Lives Matter guy. I'm like, yeah, all right, you know what? Slavery was fucked. I know it was a long time ago, but Jesus Christ, man. Yes. And yes, I agree. Police shouldn't kill black people. I agree 100%, unless they really, really, like, they shoot at you first. Like, yeah, I agree. Like, we shouldn't kill black people. And they're like, nah, it's not good enough. That's not good enough. You need to kiss our feet now. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Dude, politicians were bowing down to BLM leaders. Like, we should have removed, I can think of so many instances where the founders would have removed people from office quickly. Okay, so you're supposed to be the representative of the people in your district, and you are basically bowing down to a political movement's leaders, like literally kneeling. God. Get the fuck out of office. Like,
what about the Democrats in their African like scarves, like taking a knee? I don't take a knee for any man. I'm sorry, and I'm not even religious. No. I'm not taking a knee for Jesus Christ. Not doing it. I'm sorry, but here's the thing. I want to ask you something. Really, this might be complicated. When you were born, before you came out of your mom's vagina, assuming you weren't a C-section, did they give you a multiple choice question? Would you like to be born white, black, or brown?
I can't remember. I don't think so, though.
Yes. So, well, I'm sure you were under duress at the time, trying to come out of the vagina and all.
Yeah, I mean,
it was, and it was also the paper got wet. But God, this birth is terrible. But here's the thing: none of us are born what we want to be born. We're just born, and then we fucking deal with it. I happen to be born as a white-skinned Jew. Yeah. Who I didn't fucking choose that. Like, no. I don't give a fuck what my people did back, even though the Jews were kind of not even here. We didn't enslave people. Well, I mean, oh God, I just opened a whole new thing with the whole Israel thing. But like, my family was generally the people getting enslaved. And my Jews did not have it like the rich Jews. Okay. Yeah. So like,
there's a huge difference too.
Why the fuck am I being blamed because I was born with lack of pigment for some shit that Jethro did in 1800? My family wasn't even in this country. Like, there's no white privilege, not for me at least. No one gave me that memo. I had as much bullshit happen to me as poor people of any fucking color, and are there some people who treat you differently because of how you look? Yes. Guess what? I'm a bodybuilder. Read the tweets about me.
Oh God.
Okay. If anybody knows about being treated differently because of how you look, it's me.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very strange thing because a lot of people, when they get caught up in these little factions, like I think Tom McDonald has a thing, like they give us all sorts of boxes for us to check off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm white, I'm heterosexual, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, and this. You can't just be yourself. There's like no individualism. You have to you have to be grouped in with everybody else. And I'm traditionally masculine, so I'm going to say fuck it to all that shit. Because notice how I say traditionally masculine, but that is not anything about my ethnicity. That is not anything about my sexual orientation. Not anything about anything besides I'm a man and I'm traditionally masculine.
And you know what? You're motherfucking Alan Roberts. There's no other right. Alan Roberts, at least you, like there's the name. I've Googled it before. Yeah. There's no other fucking Alan Roberts in the world. Your DNA is specific to fucking Alan Roberts. All of us are unique fucking unicorns, and we need to treat ourselves as such. There's nobody like you. There's nobody like Tigger Jones. There's nobody like Suzanne R. There's nobody like Red Dirt Princess. Nobody like Jessica. Everybody is unique. We can't be classified as white, black, Mexican. When I interview people for jobs, I'm interviewing Bob or Jane. I'm not interviewing white or black. I'm interviewing who's the best motherfucker for this job.
I used to, when I would hire people, like I would be like, tell me, like the resume is one thing because dude, resumes are only a piece of paper. You know what I mean? What can what makes you uniquely qualified to help me in this situation? What makes you, like, if they can tell me why they can uniquely help me, what they would do, I would hire them normally. Like, in very few, like, when I would hire people, I would either hire dietitians, I would actually sit in for the hiring of medical directors, but food service directors, CNAs, those sorts of things, right? If they can't walk me through a day in their life of what they would do in the job that it was clearly described that they're applying for, I would not talk to them. But if they could, I did not give a shit what they looked like. If they could physically do the job, I would fucking love that, and I would do it. So,
yeah, I want live. I think that's meant. I don't do as many lives. You know why I like lives, Alan? There's no editing.
Well, I love lives.
It's so good. Editing takes a lot of time. Just lining up the audio.
Editing takes a lot of time, and I just find it. One of the reasons why I think that people see you and I like almost as like we have our own little sector kind of, because we'll go live with anybody. Like, I'll go live with anybody. I don't give a shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I can go live at any time, and I can literally do my speed. Like, I know my shit well enough. You know your shit well enough.
You don't need, I don't script anything.
No, me either. I don't script anything. I'm friends with Elgin still, and he scripts out his videos, like writes a script for them.
He has to because he's actually funny.
Yeah, he's actually funny.
He's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm a little funny in like almost like frantic way, but he's like funny. He's a comedian. Like he could do stand up and shit like that.
Yeah, he's so funny.
But I like live a lot better just because I get to interact with people, and like, to be real, like I like interacting with this is from yesterday. Logan, which by the way, I now identify as Wolverine. So I told my wife she has to call me Logan. That was on the live yesterday.
Really?
We can identify as whatever we want. So I'm now Logan. But Logan invites angry trolls to go live, and they never take him up on it. Like I do that a lot. Like, they want to talk shit in the comments section, I invite them to come on live with me. I don't know anybody else that does that shit because like I think that they're too afraid. Like, they don't know. To me, that you don't know your shit well enough. My thing is, if you're going to talk shit, come on live and talk shit to me.
Remember when Callie did that to me, and I went in the comments, I'm like, okay, I got my StreamYard going, let's go. And and then he's like, I'm not bringing you on live, white boy.
Yeah.
Like, go eat your apples, bitch.
Dude,
like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's apples now.
Oh my God, like he can't, I don't think he's doing it. I think he's actually taking the medication and he's doing everything the doctor says, and everything else is just a grift. And I pray to God that's what's happening. Yeah. I really do, because look, man, like I said, like it went south when he started shitting on what I do for a living, but I genuinely used to love the guy. So I'm not wishing harm on it. People comment like, oh, when he dies, you can do, if he does, God, hope he doesn't. Again, I'm not saying shit. I'm not doing a video on it. I'm done. I'm out. I'm not, there's no good look for doing that. Like, if you don't pray for someone's downfall. You just don't. And when it happens, you send condolences. You don't even do a public thing. You know, it's like, you're like, well, that sucks. You know, it's just, I hate to see anybody.
Him though, dude. I predicted when Piano was going to die. I made a video a long time ago, and I said, he's not going to live 6 more months. Like, you can look at him and say he's not going to live 6 more months, and like 2 months later, he died. And like, somebody actually brought that up when I was talking about, when I made my last video about Callie, because here's the reality. Like, he's treating himself very poorly. I worry about how much weight he's lost just in general. Like, I mean,
His new pictures, he has no veins. So the one thing, so he used to have a lot of vascularity, and people look at my veins and they say it's unhealthy and nasty. When I say it's genetic, but also like you can, when you see my like you can probably see them right now, maybe at that, but my veins are healthy. They got a good tint to them. My skin color there's no sign of any liver issue, kidney issue. You can tell that through the skin. It's an easy tell. My eyes are perfect hue. My nails are perfect color. So my organs are functioning. These are all things you look at. When I look at someone who goes from being vascular to having zero, who goes from having to, and also like sarcopenia is a huge deal. He's lost all his muscle. He can't, he says he's 180. If he's 180, I mean, I'm literally willing to give a sum of money to a charity of your choice. There's no way he's 180.
I'm about 190 right now, probably 185, 190, and I dwarf him. I had somebody be like, well, he's still bigger than you. Like, his biceps are bigger than mine. Literally, I mean, I'm talking, that's it. And that's sad because he used to be way bigger than me. Like, way bigger than me.
Bigger than, dude, you saw the video I did with him. I hung with him, but he's a large man. Like, he's a large, strong man in his heyday. Like, he took a lot to get there, but I respect that. Like, I'm not mad at someone for taking drugs. I'm mad at someone for outwardly claiming there's something they're not. Like, if you're on, look, here's the deal. Like, I am all about people on steroids not saying anything. You want to know why? Because they can put you in jail for having illegal steroids, and most people don't have prescriptions. And the amount of shit he was taking, there's no prescriptions. I get in trouble for saying this all the time, but why would you go on the internet and tell the government you're committing a crime?
Yeah, stupid.
That is literally probable cause. So you just invited the cops to come into your house, which they will because they can, because their bosses told them to. So someone like Callie, who's out there, big, a big figure, they're going to use him as an example.
Right.
So if he would have just been like, but he literally would come at people who were not natural and say, I do this all natural and you don't. And he wasn't saying it jokingly. Like, if let's say Big Ramy comes up, oh, I do this natural, you don't, ha ha ha. We know he's fucking around, right? But he would literally like do videos like clowning on people for doing steroids. And I'm like, so I mean, look, man, that's why I used to say nothing. Like, even like people are like, oh, you used to claim natural. No, I didn't. When I was natural, when I was natural, there's one article you can find, and it's in bodybuilding.com back in 2006 or 7. And it says something like natural something, and they kept it up. But I don't have the email, but I emailed them like, guys, I don't like playing that whole natural shit. Like, I'm a bodybuilder. I'm not a very good one. Let's leave it at that. And they kept it up.
You're
because
a pro bodybuilder.
Now back then I wasn't. Back then I looked really bad compared. I mean, but it was like, but they got better SEO for that. And they're like, well, are you natural? I'm like, well, yeah. They're like, well, let us put it. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to divide the community. Because nothing makes me more angry. Nothing makes me more angry. Bodybuilding's such a small, amazing niche. You've been a part of it. They're the nicest people in the world.
Yeah, they're awesome people.
The friendliest people. I don't want to create a divide in an already small community. So whether you're natural, do you lift weights and eat good food? All right, we're friends. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very strange concept. Like it's sad because I think bodybuilding, weightlifting in general, working out in general, I think it gets lumped into the very loud vocal. It's the same thing as like the LGBT community, because a lot of times there's some crossover. But
Callie Muscle again.
Yeah. What's up, Callie? How you doing?
Oh, Chuck Basher. Chuck Basher is such a good porn name.
Yeah, it really is. But it's like the very, very loud vocal portion of it, the very small minority loud vocal portion of it, is the problem.
Katie didn't like that. Look, Katie, we're talking about industry stuff. I'm not going to say anything lewd or nasty. It's all industry stuff. Don't give me that look. It is a good porn name, though.
But nothing lewd.
Nothing lewd.
Yeah, but it's what I think is like every group. It's very, very, very loud minorities that make the group look bad. I said this live yesterday too. Like, how often do people talk slower to you? Like when they talk to you, when they first meet you, when they don't know?
Maybe I don't notice. I don't think I look that big.
people will meet me and talk slower,
Are you
especially when I
serious?
was bigger. Yeah, they'll meet me and it's almost like they assume I'm stupid, which is awesome. And I let them assume that because I'd
Maybe
rather
they
be
think
under.
you're Spanish. Like,
Yeah,
do you ever talk slower to like, you see people do that? Hola,
yeah,
me
like,
llamo Marc. Maybe they think you're
maybe
maybe
they
they
think I'm
think you're an
Mexican or something
immigrant.
like that.
Maybe they think you're
Yeah,
Mexican.
that's very
They're
true.
like,
Very
hey,
true.
they're just talking slow because
They look at me. They look at me like, oh, he works for the cartel.
Can you imagine if like someone who didn't speak English, like let's say, for example, like the people they're the best people in the world, by the way. I love them. The people the group who cleans our house. Again, it's not like, and that's just the amazing. By the way, if anybody in Tennessee needs a cleaning service, they're the ones. But like, can you imagine if they came up to me and they spoke Spanish slow to me and thinking I'd understand what the fuck they're saying?
Yeah.
Hola, señor Lowbliner.
That's awesome.
Imagine if you reversed it, like you just like took Spanish people, and and what if you went to Mexico and you're ordering tacos? They're like, uno taco, senor.
Right. So this guy said Alan does look
funny to me.
This guy said Alan does look Cuban, and honestly, I get very dark very easily.
He does.
I'm Italian. I get very dark very easily during the summer. People in Florida will, if they need to ask me, like a lot of times they'll just start talking Spanish to me, and I don't know Spanish, so I'm just like, no. So like, but I think it's funny.
Just go with like things like me gusta burritos.
Me gusta burritos.
Just out of nowhere, just toss it out there. I used to do that once in a while. Just for joking. There's one thing I remember my Spanish teacher in high school taught me. I told her, I just came up with a phrase and I said it to get her to laugh. Miss Senora Zarate at Culver City High School. And it's Gago en mis pantalones para estar calientito. That means I shit in my pants to keep warm. And to this day, I always say it. I don't even know if it actually means that, but
Mark just said, "Nice to meet you, burritos." I love it. But hey, dude, it's been awesome. But I need to get running here. I got multiple things to do here. But thank you, dude. I appreciate it. We got to kind of find a time, like we said. We got to find a time like once a week where we just maybe block out an hour and a half and just like go over all the shit. So.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. I think that people seem to like it. I seem to like it.
I like it a lot, man. It's like my therapy for the week. By the way, everybody, just in case you're wondering, I just shared the link where you can get Alchemy, the Holy Trinity Weight Loss Bundle, or No Morbidity at either Tiger Fitness, which is we're finally restocked there. Dude, you guys sold out of everything. It was awesome. like for real, like that's a good thing. Selling that shit's a good thing, right?
It's better than holding on to it, I guess.
That's right.
But I was out of Ritual myself personally. That sucked.
Yeah,
Ritual PM, guys. If you're looking for like a sleeping product that helps you stay asleep and makes you wake up feeling amazing, it's not melatonin based. It's just trust me on this. Like, it's great.
It's a saffron extract. It's Affron.
That's one of the ingredients.
It's absolutely amazing. I've used it myself too. I have very vivid dreams when I use that though. Like super like.
Dude, that's my dreams. I dreamt I still have 4 years of eligibility in college football, and I dreamt I came back and I played college football. It was awesome.
Dude, we got to talk about that because that's what a grift that would be. That would be an awesome grift. But also, I just want to let everybody know, I'm super proud to announce that you can get Planta protein powder at Sprouts, but in mid-February, you'll be able to get No Morbidity and Alchemy also at Sprouts. I am so... I just so everybody understands, I am beyond the moon that we have partnered with Marc and you guys. I say this to this man all the time, but I'll never be able to thank you enough for taking my phone call, bro.
Man, no, I appreciate you. It was, obviously the formulation was a joint project, but Alan sincerely, and I mean this, like I'm not just saying this to sell shit, but Alan sincerely wants people to get better. Like everybody, like Alan's like that coach. You go back to coaching. He's like that coach who's like, just telling you the truth. Like, hey, you're not going to play football because you're too slow and you're too weak. So you go to the gym, you get faster, you get stronger, and then you get to play. Alan's like, hey, you're not going to live because you're too fat and you're out of shape. So
exactly.
He really wants everybody to get better. So when we did this project, it wasn't like, hey, let's make millions of dollars. It was like, hey, how can we get people to eat less? And I'm like, I have an idea. Let's go.
It was a beautiful idea. It's one of those things where it's like, I've been talking about this a long time. Like, you can see the tipping point being reached. Like, we're very fat right now, like very fat, very unhealthy. And it's just like, this was a thing I think we needed. Too many weight loss products are very high stim or high thermogenic. And when a person starts at like very big, while that stuff may help a little bit to get them moving and motivated, they need something that's non-stimulant, non-thermogenic, that will work on the actual hunger more than anything, and that's it delivered in folds, man. By the way, we have 2 or 3 people that have reached out to me that are almost 200 pounds down using No Morbidity and Alchemy.
200 pounds.
That's insane, bro.
Yeah,
that is insane.
It's profound to see what happens, and it comes down to simple calories in, calories out. But I think the main thing is it's not genetic predisposition to not lose fat.
Yeah.
It's just that people really like food, and if your appetite, and your cravings, and your mental state wants you to eat food, No Morbidity addresses not only the hunger signaling, but also the stress that can impact your eating. And that's what's so amazing about it is it comes from all angles to control your hunger and your appetite and your cravings. And also there's an ingredient in there that actually works with a protein that helps you to burn fat while you sleep and while you rest, which is awesome.
Yeah. The thynogen in it is a huge thing, because one of the things that happens a lot is these people that start off losing weight, like, a lot of them don't have much muscle mass to begin with. So muscle mass retention is tantamountly important, dude. And the thynogen in it helps it so the body goes to the fat stores instead of lean, but not instead of, but more predominantly than the lean mass stores, right? Yeah. And that's super, super, super important. It was just very well thought out. I wanted to thank you personally. I like to make sure everybody understands where I sit. I am all, like, I told Mark this before, man. He, like, in the years we've been friends, he has become my best friend besides my wife and son. And I can tell you this right now. I am thankful he answered my phone call. And the world needs more people like you. I hope that you run for local office within the next few years. I think the world will be better for it, dude. I can't get elected. There's not a chance in hell. But
I'm getting more and more involved in the community, and my community is everything to me. And that's why the community is life. Like, if we can sit here and yell at the camera and get views about Yemen and this and that, but if you can't fix your own community, how do you expect to fix the world?
Exactly. We need to fix our shit before we worry about the rest of the world. I say it all the time.
Exactly.
Anyway, guys, thank you very much. Follow Mark Tiger Fitness, Marc Lobliner everywhere.
Follow this guy.
Please follow me. So, and we'll talk soon, man. I'll text you later. All right.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.